In 2008, Liverpool fans spelt it out, Shankly. Not to celebrate their greatest manager, but to remind the world of the sorry state of their beloved club. The club was drowning in debt, promises of a new stadium were broken, and by 2010, Liverpool weren't just failing on the pitch, they were weeks away from financial collapse. A bitter legal battle would decide the fate of the club, and in the shadows, a group of American baseball owners waited with a £300 million gamble that would change British football forever. Welcome back to the channel. This is Football Edge, and if you are a big fan of the beautiful game, you've come to the right place. Today, we're breaking down the FSG takeover, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We'll do our best to unwrap how Liverpool, once a whisker from ruin, became one of the most profitable brands in modern football. As you might have noticed, we're still new on YouTube, so hitting that subscribe button would really help us grow, and we'd love for you to be part of the journey. Now that that's out of the way, let's rewind to when Liverpool's very existence hung by a thread. By 2010, Liverpool's finances were collapsing under the weight of debt. The Royal Bank of Scotland had seen enough, demanding repayment of the loans that Hicks and Gillett had piled onto the club. When the Americans refused to sell, it became a civil war in the boardroom. The board, led by Chairman Broughton, tried to force a sale to save the club. Hicks and Gillett fought back, calling it an epic swindle of monumental proportions. The fate of Liverpool Football Club was left to a High Court judge. In October of the same year, the court sided with the board. RBS forced the sale, and Liverpool was saved from administration. Within days, Fenway Sports Group swooped in with a £300 million takeover, a bargain for a club on the edge of ruin. The new owners weren't oil barons or lifelong Coppites. They were baseball men. John W. Henry, Tom Werner, and Fenway Sports Group had built their reputation across the Atlantic with the Boston Red Sox. Back home in Boston, Henry had ended an 86-year title drought by embracing analytics, the famous Moneyball philosophy. To him, Liverpool wasn't just a football club, it was a project, bought for £300 million with the potential to become a global powerhouse worth billions. But before Liverpool could dream of billions, they needed stability. FSG, then known as New England Sports Ventures, cleared the crippling debt left by Hicks and Gillett. For the first time in years, the club could breathe again. Still, promises of stability and investment came with baggage. Liverpool fans had heard those words before, and just 35 miles away, Manchester United were living through their own American nightmare. The Glazer takeover had plunged United into debt and sparked rebellion. The warning signs were everywhere. And while FSG brought hope, they were about to learn that English football doesn't always play by the same rules as baseball. The first test of Fenway's football experiment would come quickly, with familiar names, expensive transfers, and costly missteps. Eager to make a statement, they handed the keys to club legend Kenny Dalglish and backed him with big money. At the same time, they hired Director of Football Strategy Damien Camolli, a man who promised a data-driven revolution. But behind the scenes, this new way of thinking was already clashing with the old. The final decisions were made by a transfer committee that included Dalglish and his trusted allies, creating a battle of conflicting ideas. The results were some of the most infamous transfers in Premier League history. Andy Carroll for £35 million, Stuart Downing, Charlie Adam, Jordan Henderson, who at the time was seen as an expensive gamble. You see, FSG had built their reputation in Boston with Moneyball. What that means is simply finding undervalued talent, playing smarter, not richer. They thought Damien Camolli was the man to bring that same philosophy to Liverpool. But instead of hidden gems, he delivered big money flops. Carroll and Downing weren't clever buys, they became punchlines. So, to the owners, it felt like Camolli had missed the point entirely. They wanted efficiency, but all they saw was money burning away on players who couldn't live up to their price tags. It didn't take long before FSG realized this experiment wasn't going to work. Change had to come. By 2012, results on the pitch had fallen apart. Dalglish was gone, Camolli was dismissed, and serious questions were being asked of the new owners. Were Fenway Sports Group really the saviors Liverpool needed, or just another pair of Americans who didn't understand football? When Dalglish stepped away in June 2012, Brendan Rodgers took over. His attacking style lit up the Kop, and the 2013-14 season had fans dreaming of glory, but Liverpool came up just short, a reminder that promise doesn't always equal trophies. At the heart of that campaign was Luiz Suarez, mercurial and brilliant. I mean, he was impossible to ignore. He scored goals that made nights unforgettable, but drama followed him too. Biting incidents, red cards, and off-field controversies kept fans on edge. When he left for Barcelona in July 2014, Liverpool lost more than a top scorer. They lost a player who defined an era. Give us a like if you still remember just how brilliant Luiz Suarez was. Just like Camolli, at the heart of Rodgers' downfall at Liverpool was a flawed recruitment policy. Nearly £292 million spent since his arrival in 2012, yet much of the world-class talent he inherited walked out the door. Suarez's departure only deepened the void and underscored a harsh truth for FSG. Brilliance alone wasn't enough. Obviously, the club needed a manager with tactical intelligence, discipline, and long-term vision. That man would arrive in October 2015. After years of false starts and the failure of Camolli's initial vision, FSG finally found their formula. The turning point was a new philosophy, not just one man. Michael Edwards, now sporting director, and his lead data scientist Ian Graham brought a ruthless data-driven approach to transfers. In 2015, their approach identified one man above the rest, Jurgen Klopp, the charismatic manager who would take Liverpool to new heights. Jurgen Klopp was more than a manager. He was the perfect fit: elite charisma, man management, and tactical brilliance with Edwards and Graham's recruitment machine. They targeted players with surgical precision, identified by the data as being undervalued by the market. They built a squad piece by piece: Sadio Mane, Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk, Alisson Becker. Those last two signings weren't just clever, they were made possible by one game-changing moment: Coutinho's move to Barcelona. That deal gave FSG the ammunition to rebuild Liverpool from the spine out. Suddenly, world-class players became realities, not dreams. I mean, we could make a whole video just on the Coutinho saga, a masterclass in how badass Michael Edwards was at closing the deal. The result was a footballing renaissance. Champions League winners in 2019, Premier League champions in 2020, Liverpool's first in 30 years. Under FSG, the club reached heights many fans thought they'd never see again. But just as their vision peaked, FSG's decisions would drag Liverpool back into controversy. In April 2021, Liverpool fans woke up to betrayal. Fenway Sports Group had signed the club up to the European Super League, a closed-shop competition that threatened the very soul of football. For supporters who had lived through the Hicks and Gillett years, it felt like history repeating itself. Football sold to the highest bidder, fans pushed aside. John W. Henry appeared on camera, taking full responsibility, but the damage was done. The trust between FSG and the Liverpool fanbase had cracked. I mean, the same owners who had delivered glory had nearly torn the game apart. And yet, despite the anger, Liverpool under FSG continued to grow into one of the most valuable clubs in world football. In 2024, Jurgen Klopp stepped down, closing one of the most transformative eras in Liverpool history. Fenway Sports Group turned to Arne, the Dutch coach who had rewritten Feyenoord's story, entrusting him with Liverpool's next chapter. Slot didn't just fill big shoes, he smashed expectations. In his debut season, he won the Premier League with 4 games to spare, joining just 5 managers in English top-flight history to do so. Liverpool became unstoppable. Anfield roared again, passion on the pitch, precision in the stats. It wasn't just a title, it was validation. Riding Slot's confidence, the club shifted from cautious investment to bold ambition, launching a record-breaking summer spree of over £400 million. Florian Wirtz became the most expensive Premier League signing ever at around £116 million. Alexander Isak followed for a British record fee of £125 million. Add Milos Kerkez, Jeremy Frimpong and Hugo Ekitike, Liverpool were reshaping their squad at a historic pace. Off the pitch, the club is growing too. Multi-million-pound expansions at Anfield and the state-of-the-art AXA training centre, which replaced the iconic Melwood to consolidate the first team and academy into one location. This, along with global commercial deals and a youth pipeline that continues delivering both talent and value, shows the scale of FSG's vision. Some see FSG's ambition as the salvation Liverpool needed: trophies, vision, infrastructure. Others see a club drifting from its traditions, chasing commercial returns. But as Anfield hums with promise, Schlott's reign feels like the bridge, honouring history, embracing progress. We've come to the end of today's video, guys. From the brink of collapse to a $5 billion empire, that's Liverpool's story, defined by reinvention. And under Arne Slot, the next chapter is being written at full throttle. I'm sure I might have missed a manager, I'm not sure, a signing or some epic moment. So if I did, drop it in the comments. Don't hold back. If you want to see just how Liverpool's £446 million summer spending stacked up against City, all without PSR charges, check out this video on your screen. It's another deep explainer you won't want to miss. And hey, if you enjoyed this one, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories behind the game. I'll catch you on the next one.